one that matters. And I think that would give me no small amount of joy.
It's your show, boss.
I want to, yes. I want to change my angle just a little so my room rating goes up just a little bit.
You have half a room rater that would be like, I don't know, 10 out of 10, and then the other half would be like a 0 out of 10. So on average, 5 out of 10.
Could be even, what's this countdown clip? That's kind of interesting. It's right next to my other clip. Backpack.
That's what that was.
I hate it. What's this thing?
I don't know.
Or like we're like waiting for something really important?
I don't know. I love it. We discover something new in the show.
I didn't put it there. Did they put it there?
They who?
Are
they with you right now?
No, go to brand. Look at brand.
Yes.
And there's a 30-second countdown clip. Who uses this?
I didn't put it there. Don't be mad at me.
We're going to talk to John in 30 very important seconds. In 30 very
Get ready, John.
Seconds.
Put down your drink.
You are building me up
30 seconds. John, Christian, Ashby, like with that music and all.
It does sound very impressive.
It's kind of ridiculous.
I agree.
Oh my gosh.
Morning, everybody.
Hi, morning. John.
How you doing?
Good morning, they.
So my mom and dad always join us from the West Coast, so they feel your time pain in Vancouver over there.
Yeah, I'm prepared. I'm good.
Now, how long ago did you move to Vancouver?
I moved to Vancouver about, it was summer of 2018. So
summer of 2018. Okay. I asked for a reason. Look, Lucy's not even here.
Oh.
I asked for a reason because Carrie's going to ask you a million questions, but one of mine is you went from film to photography, and it's a very different story. But Vancouver, like mid-late 90s or so, early 90s, X-Files. Vancouver became the place because X-Files started working there, and everyone said this is the best place to shoot films, and everybody just kind of agreed because it seemed like it got repeated a lot. And I thought that must be why John went there, but not if it's 2018. You just went there because, I don't know, whales? Why did you go there?
I missed the party when it came to the film industry, I think. But overall, no, I moved here. I've always actually wanted to live on the West Coast. When I was a kid, I lived on Vancouver Island. I've always been an ocean kid. But, as life had it when I was a young man, my dad and me, we bounced around a bunch, and we ended up in Alberta, just over a little way.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm still recovering. Anyway, so we were there for a long time, went into school, and once you're in school, you just kind of stick it out, right? And then I got a career afterwards, and after that, wrapped up, got laid off, a big smile on my face, took my severance, and went back to the place I always wanted to live in the first place. But it was a long time coming. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give Carrie or Shagor go on the floor because, she has a gazillion questions for you, but I have a few of my own after, peeping your Instagram and your website.
Okay.
So, John, it's been a long time for us, but when I first met you, you were running a group called Rewind Video in Canada for, what do we call it? Low budget filmmakers.
Low budget filmmakers, micro budget filmmakers.
No budget filmmakers. Exactly. And I think you were working at a Canadian TV station.
I was, yeah.
And okay, so that's where we begin. How do you come through all that to be now, not just in photography, but like fine art portraiture? So that's the
filmmaking was always an interest. That's what I went to college for, was to learn practical filmmaking skills. I went to a technical filmmaking college in Alberta, of all places. And my friends and I, we were making our low budget movies and having a lot of fun with it. And then we decided to share it with the world. So we started up a website, which did pretty well. But it kind of ran its lifespan. And during all this wasn't a profitable thing. This was just a club basically that we'd put together. But then, to pay my bills, I went into broadcast news. It was just a lot more reliable in a place like Calgary, which is where I was at the time. And I stuck that out for close to 20 years in various positions in the same TV station. And on the side of that, I was doing photography for friends. And someone I was in a relationship with was a burlesque performer. So she was in a troupe. one day they come to me and ask me to take their photos.
And you were like, oh, hell yes.
I have to, I guess, you know. And so that was it. You know, I got into to getting really good at the photos. It always interested me, but now I had a reason to really focus on it. And suddenly I discovered there was just a huge amount of demand. And here comes...
You know why I had to jump in? Because burlesque.
Okay.
For people who are not familiar with the art, people, and I know this is, you know, we're talking about you, but you said it. For people who aren't familiar with the art, talk just a minute about what it is and what's the appeal and why people kind of gravitate to that, because it's interesting. Most all of us have at least know what it is and have seen it around, but we haven't been privy to sort of a backstage pass, so to speak, in the form of your relationship. So
it's not like it is in Blazing Saddles.
Shush.
Now, are we talking about burlesque or photography? No, burlesque. Yeah, no, burlesque, you know, it's a form of dance. It's, you know, obviously has a strong sensual element to it that's associated with it by a lot of people. Burlesque, literally, though, to burrow means to almost a parody. It's like social commentary. So a lot of the dance is driven at, you know, delivering some kind of a message, but in a fun and sexy way a lot of the time.
I need you to elaborate on that. Like, what kind of messages?
Yeah, well, for sure. You know, political messages, you know, people's rights, for example. I mean, there's no limit to what you can express. And for a lot of people, of course, it's just a lot of fun. Now, in the circles I was in, it was mostly students, people new to it, who were just really interested in the empowerment it brings to women. And of course, you get to wear amazing outfits and dance on stage, and it's awesome.
And you get to photograph it.
And I get to photograph it, right? And more than one time they said, you should come up and perform. I'm like, no, it's not quite for me. Thought about it. But yeah.
What would your act be? Like, what would your message be?
But taking photos of it was great. I made a lot of amazing friends, and it was just a really good experience. Many of them are friends of mine, close friends to this day. And I still shoot in that community here in Vancouver because we all travel, we all see each other. There's festivals, there's get-togethers. So that really made my transition into photography easier. So when I was eventually laid off from the television job and moved out here, I decided to do the photography full time. And here we are. So I've been developing my technique, I guess, as you might say, ever since. You know, and I've got a fairly particular look. Mine's very, I guess, cinematic might be a word for it.
Show some of your Instagram photos.
Unusual edits and stuff like that, but still maintain a certain glamour element.
So from film to stills is a little tricky, but what I wanted to talk about was that when I see what you've done, there's a story in each still. You know, that's the whole point, is that it's just not look at me a pic. It is just not some you know, light retouching and that sort of a thing. It's I'm going to convey as many possible words and storylines as I can in just one still. Is that sort of, does that follow your ethos from back when you were making independent and small films and all that?
I think it's a huge factor. I mean, I was always, when it comes to back when I was making movies and encouraging other people to make movies, I just love the cinematic drama of all of it. And that directly translates into my photos. I love all manner of photography, but what I like to shoot, what I like to do professionally is very character driven, much like the burlesque performers that I would shoot. So even the techniques and the courses and everything that I studied to improve upon my skill set was focused on bringing that out. And so, you know, I encourage other people who are looking for a path to think about the kind of stuff that they like, figure out why they like it, and then, you know, start pursuing methods of getting that result, because you'll probably be happier with what you're doing.
So there must be some level of resistance from people who are a little bit buttoned down or conservative about your work. Does that ever come up? Like, I know, like my mom, for example, would be horrified if I pose for photos like that. Won't stop me. But, you know, has it been an issue for you, or are you just like, this is my art?
This is my art. It is. To be honest, there's been no real problems for me, but that's likely because I surround myself. Hey, well, I just saw you in there. I surround myself with people who are like-minded, and so I get a lot of encouragement. It kind of makes things easier when you're surrounded by people who really like what you do. And I imagine if there are those who don't particularly care for my art, and I kind of hope there are, because if everyone likes your art, it's probably pretty dull. I think they just gravitate elsewhere. You know, it hasn't really been an issue.
Critics don't pay your bills, right?
That's right.
So the question I thought Carrie was going to ask, and I'll ask now instead, is when people say yes to wanting to do these photos, of course, they've already sort of self-selected. They've said, you know, I'm drawn to this. I wish I could do this. But there's always got to be that barrier. It's got to be like 90-10 people thinking, I can't possibly do what you want me to do right now. And 10 like, yeah, what do you need? Whoosh, there's my clothes. You know, what's the system like to help someone realize just how amazing they are so that you get it out of the shot? Because so much of what's in their head, so much of their garbage ends up still being all over their body until you help them out of that. How do you do that?
Well, I mean, working with performers, it's less of a problem a lot of the time, but there are definitely people who need a little bit of, I don't know if coaching is the right word, a bit of direction. Usually what it is when people come to me, I start by sitting down with them in a consultation sort of setting and just chatting a bit about what they like, the kind of things they like, the kind of ideas they have, because we collaborate. You know, they're usually coming to me. I don't usually approach them. And I'm not usually, I'm not one to say, hey, you know, let's do nudes. I don't ask people that. If they want to, they can bring it up. I'm not going to say, hey, let's, you know, let's strip this down. I love the beautiful costumes. I love the outfit, and I love exploring people's personalities through photography. And in order to do that, I have to get to know them a bit. So I'll usually, in the process of getting to know them, break down a lot of those initial barriers and get people more comfortable, so that when we do come time to shoot, they're already a little more comfortable. They know what we're going to be doing. And then I just start light and be like, okay, we'll do some easy stand-up shots. We'll warm up. We'll just, you know, and we just play around a bit until they sort of get in their zone. And I don't put time limits on my shoots. So I just sort of work with them until they're where they want to be, you know what I mean? And if it takes me 2-3 hours to get those key shots that I want to get, that's great. If it takes us 15 minutes, so much the better. You know, it'll come eventually. And everyone's got a lot of beauty in them. So it's usually pretty easy once you get someone comfortable for them to let that out.
I think that once they see some of the shots you're taking, I don't know if you show them or not, but they would relax because you do such a great job of kind of bringing people out. Not necessarily, I mean, it's definitely, I get a sense of who they are, but it's also like who they want to be, who they aspire to be.
Exactly. You know, when my style photography is kind of nice in a way too, because it's very character driven. And as such, they don't necessarily have to be themselves if they don't feel like. They can portray a character. And for some people, that's a lot easier than burying themselves right out in the open. Sometimes it's a bridge to doing that. So that kind of makes it easier as well.
Question from somebody watching. Carol asks, who comes up with all the costume and prop ideas?
It's a mix. If it's a project I'm working on and I have an idea, I'll often develop things. But a lot of my clients already have strong concepts and outfits because of their background. So they'll come to me with ideas and say, you know, this month I would love to do something where, you know, I'm a queen with a scepter. And I'm like, okay, what do we need for that? And often they'll either have it or we'll find a way to get it. Yeah.
Just dig around the closet.
Yeah. I mean, you know, this is my living. So people are coming to me, which means a lot of the times they're coming in with their concepts and I bring them to life. So, you know, you see a lot of stuff on there and they're like, wow, that's a really great idea. How'd you come up with that? And a lot of times like, well, I didn't really. I created what you see based on what someone else wanted to say about themselves. Yeah.
Buddy Wally sharing the links in the chat.
I was just going to say Wally in the comments.
Yes.
You're there. Cheers, brother.
So good.
We have a history of people being in the comments and being very, very helpful.
Chris elevated me from the comments. That's what he said. So, John, you play poker and you play it really, really well.
Well, I like to think so. You know, it depends who I'm against. Sometimes I feel like a rank amateur. You know,
I'm a rank amateur. So Stephen Brogan, Chris's dad, has tried to teach me. He's very generous with his time and expertise, and I'm still terrible at it. So I appreciate the skill that it takes. But you used to play this online poker, and you would send me like thousands of dollars of this poker money that I would just fritter away because you couldn't even hold the amount of money that you won. So How did you get so good at poker?
I'm one of those guys that once I decide I'm into something, I'll just like obsessively pursue it like crazy. And so I think one Christmas I was purchased just a poker book. Don't even know why, because at the time I wasn't playing it. Read it, decided this was something I was interested in, and I just dove right in like crazy. And it was my focus. Other than my day job, there's day job, and at night I play cards online. And I went through the same process everyone else does. You suck at first, and then if you're serious about it, you learn, you get better, you improve, and then maybe you even start breaking even and winning. So that's kind of the process it took. And I just really enjoyed the challenge of the game and playing people. It was a very social game, so I really enjoyed that too.
You're going to recreate that picture of like a card game going on, but everyone's in burlesque costumes. I'm just putting it out there.
Dogs playing poker, but with burlesque?
Yes.
Already done it.
I'm going to go dig it back here. Can you find it for me?
I'll have to dig it up. It's
okay.
Way
when
back
we put you backstage, you could look for it.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I did. I did a self-portrait of me. It was actually not dogs playing poker. I did the Last Supper of me at a poker table. And then I took the same concept, because that was ages ago before I was even doing professionally. And I did the same one for a client here in town who is a high stakes cash player. Her name's Jillian. And we did the same thing with her, but then with years more practice at doing these photos, where I did 13 versions of her all in the same shot in that Last Supper pose, but at a poker table. So I'll see if I can dig that up a little later on.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of John Christian Ashby links there. Thank you so much for coming on and chitty-chatting with Carrie and myself. It was so pleasure. Cool just that you were at a moment ready to go. But we're going to push you back. Generous. If you can stick around, stick around. If not, that happens. Whew.
I hope he sticks around.
He's got some depth, that man.
I know, right?
Depth.
Who knew when we were in our 20s?
We got to talk to the StreamYard people. What is this about? I just don't know. I mean, I know what this one's about, but who made this weird ass 30-second thing? And you can't cut it. There's no X button on it.
You're so fussy. Just leave it. Leave it. Nobody said you had to touch it.
It's like a splinter in my mind. Anybody?
Just leave it.
So
yeah, there's nothing I can think of that would be an idea for John that he hasn't already done, or at least thought of. I promise I'm not that creative.
That's a great follow-on question is, hey John, how much do you love it when people come up to you and go, I've got an idea? There's nothing artists love more than being told ideas.
It happens to everybody though. So when we had Dave Landau on, I mean, he's like, everybody thinks they're funny. Everybody thinks they can be a comedian. It's so true. Everybody with an iPhone now thinks they're a photographer. To a degree they are. But
everyone with a laptop's an author. Yeah.
Can't bring people out.
It'd be a good idea for a book. There is no worse sentence, except for, it'd be a good idea for a photo.
Well, everybody who works out thinks they are a fitness trainer or could be.
That's right. And it'd be a good idea for a fitness trainer?
To actually be a fitness trainer.
We could be Lucy Wyndham-Read.
Hi, Lucy. Thanks for joining us today. So Lucy is fantastic. I am so happy you're here. So Lucy does a YouTube channel, has 1.5 million subscribers, and has more than 900 totally free YouTube workouts, and it is amazing. And the way you got your start in it, Lucy, is so interesting to me. You wanted to get fit, and so you joined the military, because that's what you do when you don't join a gym, like a cancelable contract. You join the military because you aren't around.
Yeah, so for me at school, I hated sports and I was really unfit and I really struggled. And I guess for me, it was like I was 19 years old and a bit lost in life. I'd been really bullied and I just thought, you know what, I want to sign myself, or not sign, I'm looking at something up here saying sign. I want to throw myself in the deep end. I want to become like a fit, strong, confident woman. And it was, what do I do? I'm simply going to go and throw myself in the deep end and go and join the army. And that's what I did. And I did it for 5 years. And I think the best thing that I learned from it was it taught me about determination and discipline. And actually in business, as I've kind of like, now I've got my own business, and that is one of the most important things to have is determination and discipline.
And you're talking about determination and discipline like people who want to get fit, but there's a lot more to it in the military. And you actually went from someone joining the military to get fit to training new recruits. Like you were out there making them go through high intensity interval training before that was even a thing.
Absolutely. I mean, this was back in the early 1990s. And the interesting thing is now, I don't think I could do it now, because now I wouldn't be able to be told what to do. But at that young age, it was like, you know, I was kind of, I needed to learn. Now it would be really, really different. But yeah, so it was, I think everything is about challenging yourself, and it's those challenges is what kind of like changes you, I guess. And that's where it's been great to be able to have my YouTube channel, because I've sort of like, my journey has now ended up helping so many other people on their journeys as well.
Definitely. You have a whole community on Facebook called Lucy Squad. Like everybody on Twitter calls themselves Lucy Squad. They share your videos before you do. Like I see the second you've put one up, somebody will have shared it, like either to your Lucy Squad Facebook group, they put it on Twitter. At this point, you could do nothing and your community can continue to grow.
It's really kind of crazy, because I'm not a business expert at all. And in fact, at school, I struggled with everything. I was dyslexic, got terrible grades in all my exams, but I've always been very determined, very kind of passionate about what I do. And as a result of it, I've just sort of like worked really hard to build up a community. And once you have that community, then everything else just kind of follows, because they believe in you, then they promote your products. And here we are, someone burpees. I hate burpees as well, let me tell you. You know, so I just think that's where, in a way, social media and everything, it's so nice. Like you can work really hard and you get the results.
One of the things that happens a lot for women that doesn't happen as often for men, or as intensely for men, is as you start to gain your notoriety and fame, of course, you have women who are mean to you, but you have men who get all pervy and a lot of haters and all that sort of a thing. And so you always have to go through that valley of pain and misery that no one wants to talk about, but is important to talk about your climb of how do you learn to deal with that? How do you deal with stalkers, bad people, you know, all of those things that you have to take with this to do the parts that you love so very much. Can you talk just a minute about that?
Sure. I mean, I have to say, touch wood, I need to touch wood now. So far, I haven't had that much, but I have had a little bit. And I think, hand on heart, the way I deal with it is I just think, as long as what I'm doing is honest and hardworking, and, I'm sticking by what I believe in, then that's what I've got to deal with. And yeah, sure. I mean, I do get some horrendous comments and nasty stuff, but I've just got tough to it. I'll take it with a pinch of salt. And actually what I do with a lot of those comments is I'll just leave them there, and I kind of let Lucy Squad answer and take on those comments. And that's actually the best way, because a lot of people want that reaction, they want that argument. So actually the best way is just kind of like walk away from it. And I think, where I've been fortunate is because I don't really sell any products. I'm not like a typical person on Instagram that is there doing ads and sponsorship and going, look at my life, it's wonderful, I'm being gifted that. It's, my message is really, really different. I'm not on there to make money through doing that. So, and I think people respect that massively. So because of that, I haven't had that much, but I have had the odd little bit, but I'm tougher than most people think. So, that's,
yeah.
I would invite you.
I love that you're like, I'm not a business person, but you have really canny instincts. Like from day one, when you started your business and you were like, I need publicity, you did free training for a celebrity, and she looked great all of a sudden, had lost all this weight. And so then people were talking about you, then you do TV appearances. And after that, you started doing all your
own content. I think what's interesting, principle of business. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I just went weird there. But for me, what I've done is I think I've never chased money. I've always just chased success. So when I saw an opportunity to train someone, I was just kind of like, actually, this is great. I'm not going to make any money, but I'm going to prove to everyone that what I'm doing works. My method of training is very, very different from other stuff out there, but it does work. I don't conform to other people. I think outside the box. And it's like one of my workout videos on YouTube now has got over 73 million downloads in just under 2 years. It's one of the most, it's the second most liked workout video. And that is with no PR, no marketing, and simply just because it works. So I think, you know, what's really important, so many people like would just think, oh no, just chase the money, and you chase the money. And then, you know, I just think it's the wrong road. To me, in this day and age, when everything is like social media, people work better with a real person than they do a big kind of corporate brand.
Well, it is a business show, and you've said multiple times, not money, not money. Where do you get your money? Like, where is that? Where is the business element of your business?
That's a really good point, because the weird thing is, by doing free stuff on YouTube is where I've made money.
Ad revenue.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So
which is great, because it's the least painful of the revenues, because, you know, all they have to do is endure the ad and everybody's served, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where, you know, if you were telling me to go and sort of sell something, I would find that hard to do. But by giving free content, as a result of free content, people find you, they then know you, they trust you, they can see it works. And then I've written lots of ebooks, and from a result of that, then people go and buy my ebook. So it's literally, so I've kind of like, I'm selling without selling. You know, I never want to say to someone, go and buy this, but actually what they do is they know my stuff works, and then they go on and they buy stuff.
Carol wanted to see which video was the most popular with the 73 million views. And there it is, the 7-minute workout, 7 days. You've talked a lot about consistency. And I think that's interesting, because it works both for fitness and for building your business, is consistency. To show up day after day after day and do what needs doing.
You know, but also what's really good for me, it's kind of like I've built up, in a way, it's a bit of like it's a passive business. Like it just now, it literally, I could kind of walk away from it and it would still be working. And it's kind of
I wouldn't. I'd be like, oh, Lucy's done, so I'm done. I'll sit on the couch with my
but what I mean like that is, it's like creating for evergreen content that people are always going to need and want.
How do you come up with new workout ideas after 900 videos? Like, how do you make it target the same muscle group a different way after you've done it so many times?
Yeah, you know, it is tough, but that is where I just get really creative, and I'm not scared about doing something that I think, oh my God, is this crazy? And I don't follow what other people are doing. So it's like a recent one, indoor walking, like when we were all going through quarantine, I just thought, actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to head out. It's a beautiful day here in the UK, and take my iPhone, and I literally filmed 1 minute of just like walking along this path. Then I stopped, then I filmed another 1 minute, then I stitched it all together, and then I created a video. So half the screen, you get to see a walk. So it's like you're coming on a walk. Then the other one I filmed literally in here. And, you know, and I think that's it. You just have to be in life, like just don't be scared of being crazy and put out different stuff. And so that's how I've come up with over 900 videos, because I'm not just doing like the burpees and the squats and the lunges. It's thinking differently.
Well, I think it's been said before that you're never going to survive unless you're a little bit crazy.
I love being crazy. I love crazy people. That's what life's about. It's, you know, it's about just thinking of stuff being just different, because everyone else does the same stuff. If you think differently, that's where you stand out from the crowd.
So we're all unanimous. Apparently people don't like burpees, but they continue to do them. Yeah. How much do you do them?
Joe, no, I haven't done anything in 100 years, but Joe DeSena was like, I can't believe you like burpees. And I said, well, like's a weird word, but I recognize that they have a great amount of bang for their buck. That's what
I remember just being like, what's a burpee? And they showed me, and I was like, I don't need to see it again. Good. I'm never going to do it.
The crazy thing is, I've done videos with burpees, but I've also done a load that aren't. And I show people, you know, if you don't like doing the burpee, here's an alternative. And I think that's how my business has grown as well, by being able to adapt and show people, you know, like being able to cater for like a big audience. So my demographic isn't just like a set person. I've done workouts if people are, perhaps if someone's in a wheelchair, you know, different genres, different ages, you know, and in business, if you want to be successful, you've got to try and still be niche in your market, but then also be available to everyone.
The streaming lawyer Mitch Jackson is here and says hello. Hi, Mitch. People in wheelchair workouts is interesting too. That's what Carrie said about you when she was praising you, is just how inclusive you are. Evidently, filmmaker Michael Bay includes wheelchair athletes in almost all of his movies, just kind of tucked into some little scene. No one really knows why, but I guess it's a thing he likes. So it's interesting that you do it for a lot of different people. There are a lot of people like me who gave up everything for Lent around like March 2nd and just said, forget it. I'll be fatter. It's fine. Partly because of like the depression and all those sorts of things. And partly everyone's recent rediscovery of everything made out of carbs, bread sandwiches with bread in the middle. What's your get back to, your, I am so absolutely fat, I want to die, get back to it. I bet you've shot that video a few times, but what's your like get started one?
Yeah, I think, the get started is change your mindset. And instead of going, oh, I can't do it, I'm going to hate it. It's like, actually just wake up one day and go, I'm excited. I'm going to take control of my health, my well-being, and just look at it that it's just doing small little bits. Like, even if it's, you don't want to do a workout, but you're just going to go and walk 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunchtime, 10 minutes in the evening, and even just start thinking, okay, I can still have carbs. We need carbs, but just finding little things, portion size, and, having, also the attitude that every single day, if you work out and then you eat healthy food, you're investing in your future health. So I think, and again, it just kind of goes back to discipline. And don't get me wrong, I love my chocolate. I love having stuff, but I do balance, Monday to Friday, I'm really good. Then during the weekend, have a little bit of what you want. And here in the UK, we've got a big thing now. They're really trying to crack down on obesity. And so for me, again, it's like putting the right message across, just it's education. It's like everything in business. If you do well, it's all about education, it's learning.
It's interesting that Boris got into that so much. Boris got so into let's make a bunch of things outlawed because maybe it'll help us be a little less obese. Of all people, I think about 0 people thought Boris Johnson was the person who's going to try to champion this publicly.
Yeah, but it was because he was so ill with COVID that they reckon, that really scared him. And then I think people realize, actually, if that's going to help us in a little way, just make us healthier, stronger and fitter, then it's important we look at doing that.
You do a really good job of packaging your workouts too. Like, you've put together a page-free exercise, for people who are in exactly the situation. And it includes things for kids. It includes things for beginners, everything.
So again, I think, like, from marketing and for a business side of things, I know it's really important to take that client, that customer on a journey and hold their hand and just show them, just lay it out so it's really easy. And that's something that I do in all my stuff, that they're not having to go and look and find it. Again, just keep everything simple. And I think in business and fitness and everything, that really, really applies. And so I'm just forever thinking, okay, if they don't know how to find the link, I'll create the link. I'm thinking of the scenario. I kind of think of each client as, I never say this right, is it an avatar? So I'm building up the profile of this person and then thinking, right, they're a busy mum, so they're not going to have time. So I'm going to say it's like after the school run at 9:30 a.m. and I'm going to give them the link, and it's just going to be a quick workout, and then the lunch that they're going to do, they can then share with their kids. It's building up the profile of that customer, knowing in advance. So then I've kind of like fulfilled all their needs.
Some Lucy appreciation here, and a lot of words from Don Stanley, but people like you.
I was going to say that our good friend Jack Vincent, story warrior Jack Vincent, is visiting Spain at present and was saying that the gym situation there wasn't all he wanted it to be, but he didn't let that get in his way, and he decided to go out and kind of make his own thing happen. Are you finding ways to modify, or at least even having the mindset that if you can't do what you want to do, but you have to modify, how important is that to the story?
Yeah, I think it's really important, definitely. I mean, like here, gyms they've only just reopened, and I think you'll get some people that are desperate to go back because they just need that connection. But then there's also a lot of people here that have just decided that's it. They're cancelling their memberships, and they've realized actually they can get fit at home and it's convenient for them. So I think it's either one or the other. But, you know, I think the gym industry, having a gym is a really challenging time. And I think they'll definitely have to look at how they can also offer their members something online as well, you know. And it's like everything in business, you know, we can't run away from when stuff's falling. We've got to like react. We've got to find another way around it.
You're like
And
the
so,
anti-gym, though.
yeah,
You always, that was your business from the beginning. You were like, gyms are taking advantage of people who want to get fit but don't come for whatever reason.
My point was with the gyms, when I got my first job ever in a gym, I was so excited to go there and work. And I remember the gym manager telling me, show me around. He's like, right, we've got 20 bits of, oh no, sorry. He showed me the gym and I counted like 20 bits of gym equipment. So there's like 5 rows, 5 steppers, 5 bikes, 5 treadmills. And I said to him, how many members have you got? He's like, we've got 1,800. And I said, so what happens if they all turn up at once? And he's like, well, they won't. And he laughed. Oh my God, I love that cat. And he said,
anus first, by the way, this is a treasure for you. There you go.
Oh my God, look at your new hairstyle you've now got. Fantastic.
I know, I'm glamorous. I feel
pretty. And one of the things that he said, and he really loved it from a business point of view, is that only 11% will ever come to the gym, and that's where the gym made the money. But for me as a trainer, I'm like, but I want to reach those other people because I'm passionate about getting them healthy and fit. So for me, I think what's really important is I've been able to now reach those people with my YouTube channel, which I think is really, really key. But, you know, people that love going to the gym, I would never stop them going to the gym. The fact they like it, they're driven to do it is great. The people that I want to reach are the people that don't like going to the gym, that don't know how to get fit and healthy at home.
Yeah, breakage is the entire business model of a gym. They predict around 86% non-attendance. So that's called breakage, when you pay for something but you don't actually show up. Right. And around here, when the quarantine started, there are 2 very local gyms to my house. I happen to have a membership to both. Both of them are not allowing people to cancel their memberships. They're like, oh, sorry, there's just no one in right now. You know, there's no one to handle that over the phone. So they're just eating money from the community, but also eating goodwill from the community, so that several hundred people, who, by the way, all lost their jobs because, you know, they're regular working people, are getting fleeced by this. So there will either be a couple of really interesting small court lawsuits, but also for sure a big loss in this. But something else, you know, that's exciting about your method, I feel like another thing that's happened during quarantine is that people have really, really wanted to trim down their needs and wants for a lot of different reasons. And they've gotten almost, I keep just going back to the mindset of sort of monk-like, in that we don't need all the things we thought we needed. But that's your system and your plan and your desire for that kind of started that way. Were you ever like Ms. Gadget? Were you ever like, you need to have, you know, the exercise ball, 81 kettlebells, the bar stick and all that stuff? Or like, it's just never been that way for you?
It's not how it is in the military.
No, I mean, to be honest, you know, it's kind of like you can everything. You've got everything you need. So I've always been a little bit like, actually, you don't even need weights. You can use body weight. So, and also I suppose as well in business, and as you know, you always have to find a way and you have to come up with a solution. You have to be a problem solver. And so in a way, that's a little bit with fitness. It's like, okay, so if people can't afford weights, if people are short of time, how can they do it? So if they're just using their own body weight, if we're doing workouts that involve multiple muscle groups and are quick, then that's going to work. So I think, you know, again, in business, it goes back to the same principles. You know, if you can solve a problem, then you have a customer.
You know, I was just thinking about the fact that your channel is so international, and we were teasing just a wee bit about sort of the, you know, how weights are done differently and all that sort of a thing. And, you know, a stone is 14 pounds is however many kilos and all that. And I was sort of making this, trying to be clever story in my head about trying to explain to you that, like, you know, if you don't have a dumbbell, I was going to say a gallon of milk is 8 pounds. And then I realized they don't do gallons. So 4 liters of milk is half a stone. And then I realized that, you know, no one in England buys milk by the gallon like we do in the States. My question out of that shenanigans is it, do you translate a lot of the phrasing, like press up to push up and back and forth? Do you do a lot of that, or do you settle on one and just call it that?
No, it's interesting because my audience definitely is kind of all over. So I try and be really sensitive, and, you know, I'll call it a press up and a push up. And actually, it was interesting. I had someone comment the other day on one of my ebooks that I sell. And she was a lovely lady from India and just said, look, Lucy, I love your stuff. She said, but it's really offended me that you have a picture in one of your ebooks where you're stood on a set of books. And the idea was, for the cover, it was just showing that within this book there were lots of other chapters talking about nutrition, fitness. And she said, actually, in their religion, books are knowledge, and so it was really disrespectful doing that. And I was like, oh my goodness. And literally straight away I took that cover down and we changed it. And it is really important to do that, but, you know, I think as you grow, it's like I'm sort of unaware of that, and all of a sudden my business has grown so quickly because I'm now doing a clothing range, and you know, and I've had to do something which has been really hard, is kind of let go a little bit and outsource stuff, which has been really hard as well. But yeah, you definitely have to be really sensitive and look at stuff, your dialogue, you know, and just check you're not offending anyone. Then in your country it wouldn't offend someone, but in another country where you've got customers it would.
You're also showing them what to do, though. So I mean, you know, fine. So you're like, I don't know what a press up is. They could see you probably.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But then, of course, they're like, wait a minute, that's a push-up.
Hey,
Americans.
Mine aren't that good. I'm not very good at them. I try, but I'm not brilliant at them.
Well, you're definitely the best of everyone here today. So.
You got us. All right, I'm dragging John back in. And I really desperately wanted to the minute he jumped out of his chair, but Carrie was talking, so it was rude. I tried to be polite every now and again. John, this is something where it's the both of you have something in common insofar as you just kind of really run with your passion. Neither of you said, I can't wait to find a desk that I could sit at. Like, can you just even imagine that life at all right now? And if not, how does the world work if what everyone really wants to do is be John and Lucy?
Oh, wow. That's kind of a large question. No, I mean, it's one of those things where once I left television, I knew I didn't want to really go back to working for someone else. You know, I mean, that's not really an option for everybody, but if it's something that someone really aspires to, you know, you find what you love, and then if possible, you find a way to make a living at it. You know, if it's photography, if it's fitness, you follow your drive, and like Lucy was saying earlier, you're not chasing the money. You're really just putting out there something that you're passionate about and you enjoy. And when you do that, usually, you know, things can fall into place, and you're going to have to acquire new skills. You're going to have to learn about business. You're going to have to learn about money management. Sure. But the first thing is to make sure that whatever it is you're putting out in the world is something that really means something to you. Yeah.
Lucy, what's your thought on that?
Yeah, I think, you know, you got to chase your dreams. Passion, you can't beat passion. And everyone, I would say, if you've got a business idea, just go for it. And like where I said, I wasn't trained in business, but I've learned along the way. And I think, you know, nowadays, especially with stuff being online, there are so many opportunities for people.
And give away stuff for free that you're passionate about, and build something then that you can, you know, make money off of.
You know what's really interesting? It's kind of like, just by giving free stuff, actually, you can then end up selling, you know? And I think, you know, if you give good quality, and it is about providing information, you know, be the leader in your profession by providing more and more information. And where I think it's really powerful is so many people in business don't do that. And that's where you can stand out from the rest.
It has to be good. It has to be consistent, which is a lot of work. And I can't see most people putting it in, but I bet you have a lot of people turning up now, both of you probably, that are like, oh, look at you with your overnight success. But it's been like years you've been doing this.
It's been a long time. I think a lot of people probably don't fully appreciate, you know, how much work goes into what we all do. But, you know, that just comes with it.
At least, Lucy, you can be like, look at the dates on my videos. I've been here for years.
I've been here forever.
Yeah, also for me, it's all the knowledge learning. So it's kind of that overnight success has probably taken about 25 years. So, 25 years of living in bedsit. I mean, I've kind of talked about this before. I've literally lived my life as doing business. At the beginning, I was making no money at all and living in a bedsit, but I had a dream, I had a passion. And I think, the thing is, you just got to keep going. If you really, really believe and you work hard, you get there.
Complete the motion if you stumble.
That's definitely a great way to look at it. Yep. John, I want to call out the fact that it's entertaining that, you were struggling with some lighting as you're the most professional lighter out of the bunch of us, but
still got windows, still got the sun to deal with.
He moved everything around just for you, actually. This is not his normal setup, Chris.
The sun sucks ass. That's the sun needs to leave. That's why Lucy lives in lady.
Constant challenge.
Constant sorrow.
John turned it all around so that you wouldn't see his real life happening behind him when his girlfriend gets up and makes coffee and stuff.
You can probably see her back there. She's like,
I do see her. Hi. That's always.
But
the
we
way.
love the real thing. I mean, you can
exactly, right? You get just a
cat
look
breaks
at
in. Yeah, we love it. That's been the best thing about the pandemic is seeing people's really real lives. Sort of encroach on their perfectly crafted and polished professional persona.
Yeah, I mean, where else do you get to see cats fly?
Yeah. I'm in a WorkLive studio, so my studio is also my apartment, and it's specifically rented out that way. It's intended for artists to work out of, and it works as both a business and a home. So
is mine. We have that in common, John.
I love, Lucy, that your cats will just wander through your workout videos and you leave them. You leave it in.
I know. I thought literally, you wait there. I've just found one.
Oh,
this is the best. This is why we do this filming. And Jane Morehouse will be super happy.
Look at that.
There you get a cat.
Okay. Now
look like they all do it. They all put the butt forward. What is that?
I know.
What is that with cats?
I'm proud of it.
It's truly the that of cat gestures.
They've been doing the Lucy Wyndham-Read workouts, and they're like, check this out! Yay!
That's it. But and it's really funny because my audience, because obviously with lockdown, I was unable to go to the studio that I would normally go to. But actually, then I literally just would film in this little corner here. And they ended up loving it because they get to see kind of me even more. They'd meet the cats. So it's been great. It's been good. And also I've been able to kind of create more content because I can quickly now just film a video whenever instead of having to go into London and book a studio. So, I think also in business, through this time, you learn to just adapt and you learn to adjust as well.
I think you both have an opinion on this too, which would be that for the last several decades, everybody has really tried hard to aim towards artifice and facade. And so, for instance, in film, in John's space of film, not to presume, there's a lot about trying to bring reality in as hard as you can. Look at the beautiful cat. There's a lot of trying to make the words seem fresh and real, the lines seem real, the cuts, while artistic, be true to what you would maybe see in that moment and that sort of thing. And I think that's same as, working out in your house instead of a studio. There's something that we're really craving right now about real reality, which is an awful way to say that, but we had to add real to reality because I think there's a really famous quote that I can't find anymore that says the word reality needs the quotes around it for it to mean anything.
Yeah, no, I get that totally. And I think, people do. At the end of the day, it's now more so than ever, just people want stuff that's real, that's relatable, that just, I think so much on social media is so polished and look at my perfect life. And it actually makes the person look at it feel, just like their life isn't as good. And then when people see real stuff, it just then makes them feel more real. Sorry, there we are.
I'm crying, laughing at the cat. I'm sorry.
That is awesome.
That's as real as it gets. But John, that's interesting because your work is enhanced reality. It's not
it is.
Hey, this is what I look at in my sweatpants, hanging out at home. It's I'm living my best life.
See, she got in there. Yeah, no, I mean, what I do, of course, is I'm a storyteller, but a lot of good stories, you know, have their foundations in truth and the reality of the world, the way people are. I just, you know, tell them in a very fantastical way, you know. Like I found that poker picture. I don't know how to show it to you guys, but
so do
share
screen. I think you have that button.
Do share screen. Let's see. Okay, yeah, here we are. So I'm going
Be
to.
careful which tab it is, baby.
Yeah, exactly right.
Hi, Fred. Welcome back today. Sorry we couldn't have you here yesterday, but
nothing could go
I mean
wrong.
Friday. But
Fred Faulkner the Fourth. He has
It's
a really
Fred
cool
Faulkner
name.
the
It's
Fourth.
almost as cool as Lucy Wyndham-Read.
Exactly. And John Christian Ashby. Let's get over it. And Carrie O'Shea. I'm Christopher Edward Brogan. Good to meet you all. Thank you for being here.
I used to do it short, and everyone else would have a long name, and then I
who has long names? Killers, assassins. Right? You get your middle name if you kill the person.
Well, I'll think about that.
Jack Ruby failed. That's why he's just Jack Ruby. John absolutely can't.
John actually goes by Ash these days. So
really?
Mm-hmm. Fun fact: in the last couple of years,
John just added himself to the screen twice, which is interesting.
That's funny. I want to sort of put him in, but like I don't know what that would look like.
I know. I was sorely tempted.
It would break something, I bet.
Here. Oh nope! Now he took himself out.
Oh hey!
He was like, "You're not doing that to me."
I screen shared and it just.
Oh, give me the link. I'll do it.
It crashed right out. So
private chat.
I guess you have to visit my website. If you go on my main page and scroll down a ways, and then hit load more, that picture I'm referring to is there. But you know, what I was getting at with that picture is it's got a lot of various sides of Jillian's personality when she's at the table, because a poker player has a lot of different gears and a lot of different personalities depending on who they're playing against. And I wanted to reflect that. And that's genuinely, you know, part of what she does. And then I just show it in a way that's just a fun story. So, you know.
That's interesting. That's Annie Duke said that when I interviewed her. She was talking about the fact that, you know, it's really a matter of who's at the table. It's never the cards. It's always who's at the table.
And Annie would know.
She talked about the old days of getting, you know, bullied by Brunson and all that, and like what she'd have to do to fight him, and the fact that her brother was supposed to be the winner and this sort of thing, the professor, and how he, you know, wasn't, you know, they played very different styles. She was like a scientist, and you know, he was known as the professor. So it's crazy times. I don't see Lucy as much of a pro poker player, though. I don't think that's your gig.
There it is.
I don't think I'll be any good.
I would be not good because I'm terrible as like a amateur poker player. So.
Well, I think I already said this story once on this show, which was that the first time I played at the Bellagio with my old boss, Jeff Pulver, and the first hand comes around and I realize I have an insanely good hand on my first hand. And I go, "Oh!" And everybody folds.
You got word on that. That's okay.
Yeah, maybe
first psychology, maybe they'll think you're just a terrible actor.
Yeah, maybe then they think you really have a shit hand and like you know.
All right, so whereas this wrap is winding down, it's plain to see I forgot my hat. There's a backpack, and in this backpack we have to put the most important things. So communication, collaboration, configuration, how to build a better community, Manchu. There's all these things that go into building the backpack. What do you have to add to the backpack that people really need to take with them on the day-to-day to make their next week and their next 5 years super good? Whichever one he wants to go first gets to go first.
Go ahead, Lucy.
What you got?
My goodness. What would I say? I would just say it's like in my backpack, what would I have to keep my business growing is just kind of hard work, definitely. Hard work, consistency. Am I allowed to put one or two? How many things?
170 if you want.
Okay, right, let's
no more than that.
Okay, what I'm going to say, the biggest thing is be creative. Don't be scared, literally, and don't be scared about being judged if you're going to get thumbs up, thumbs down. Just keep thinking of your customer and give them what they need. So mine would be about being creative, being a problem solver, solving problems. There we are. I got there in the end. That's what I'm going to put in my backpack.
I thought you'd be like, I'm putting the cat in there.
For me, it's all about imagination and being open to possibilities. You have to be able to roll with changes. Things are going to happen, as we are all learning this year. Keep your imagination active. Keep the ideas flowing. And if they're not flowing, you know, surround yourself with people who share your interests. And I also encourage people to if you want to get good at something, surround yourself with people who are better at it all the time. You do that and you'll just find yourself improving. And then when you're getting better, keep surrounding yourself with more like-minded people and share what you got with people, give it away, share your knowledge, share your art, and keep the imagination going, because it's contagious.
So if I want to get better at poker, I can play with literally anybody else. It's great.
Well, I mean, technically you will get better the more you play. There's no getting around it,
I mean, they're all better than me. So.
It might get expensive. We'll see.
Well,
and also, like you said, give it away. Give it away.
Yep.
Give it away now. I have one question for both of you, though, as it relates to those things going to the backpack. What is the role of producing shit on the way to doing those things that you just both said? What is the role of imperfection in getting where you need to go?
Essential. If you think you're going to start making amazing art first time out, you're and if you think what you made first time out's amazing, then congratulations, you can move on to something else. But I'd say that we all suck when we start, and we all have interests. And when we started out, none of us knew what we were doing, and we just kept going at it. So don't worry about other people's impressions of you, and don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah, and I would say for me, the best things have been my mistakes, because that's where I've learned the most. So I now would say to anyone starting out, don't be scared of failure, because failure is actually a lesson. It then teaches you, and thank goodness I failed. Thank goodness I got all those things wrong. Thank goodness I had so many no's and rejections, because if I hadn't have had them, I wouldn't be where I am now. And where I am now is doing my dream job. I've got my dream life, and everything is because I had doors slammed in my face, told no, and thank goodness, best thing ever. And failing so many times. Failing was, keep going and never ever be scared, because it will. It literally does take you to the road of success.
Things of beauty. Thank you both for sharing and bringing so much to the backpack today. Thank you so much for being
Thank you.
here on a moment's notice like that as well.
Thank you both so much.
So everybody knows what comes next.